am Stacy from Lee and Stacy Do Finance, and today I'm kind of playing catch up with our budget that we utilize YNAB for, which is You Need a Budget, and I need to close out the month of September's budget, and we need to finish funding our November budget because our funding period timeframe for that has completed, and we're technically any money we earn starting this week will go towards funding December because we're trying to budget a full 2 months in advance. So let's get started. I'm going to start off going into the month of September, and we'll see where we landed on there. So it looks like we had earned a little bit of money. We had $423.69 that was available to be budgeted at the end of the month of September. And let's take a look at our categories here. We're looking for anything that is negative, so it should be yellow or red. So it looks like we overspent a little bit more in our animals category, as has been the norm since we adopted Suki, and I'm sure we'll have lots of pictures and stories of her in this week's video. So we are going to just take the $10.06 out of our excess miscellaneous purchases category, and we're going to add that into the animals category to square that up for the month of September. And then we have another yellow category with a negative, and it's $27.81 for dining. So for that, we are just going to take that money from groceries, since those two categories kind of line up pretty well with each other. So we're going to subtract $27.81 from our groceries line item and add it to our dining. And that is good as well. And it looks like everything else was good for the month of September. So we can move on to October. And here we are going to kind of finish up our September month-end process for our budget, the way we handle it. And any of the categories that we over-budgeted for because we underspent last month will kind of be set back to the appropriate levels. So our utilities section, we normally try to have $400 available in there. Looks like a lot of our utilities have already come out, but our goal target was $368.06, which actually puts us at a negative $16.97. So we're just going to add that in as well. And I'm going to do a quick look. It looks like we had 2 bills for the same amount for the same company. So I think that's just an error in there. Well, I'll have to go back and fix that up. So I'm going to change that back to the proper funding amount because I know one of those is wrong. We shouldn't be over budget this early in the month. So that should work itself out once I go through and figure out where the money actually came from for that payment. Okay, so I just went through and figured out which of our accounts that electric bill actually came out of and deleted the duplicate, so we are correct. We still have $156.52 for the rest of our utility bills, so we should be good on that front. So we'll get back to the rest. So groceries, we like to have no more than $600 at the start of, or given for the month. So we've already spent $155. We still have $583 left, so we definitely had more than $600 available at the start of the month. So we're going to switch that back down. So it's going to be $460.80. And if you notice, as we're changing these and lowering them down to the correct amount, it is increasing our to-be budgeted amount, because then we can reallocate that money to other things. Toiletries and consumables we have set at $150 a month, and we were over there, so the goal target is $110.55 to get us to that level. transportation, we normally aim to have 180 as our starting balance. And you can see we haven't actually spent any money here, so we know that's definitely off because the green amount here is not $180. So we're going to reduce this amount so that way this equals $180. And that's going to get there by putting 6604 in. Alright, those categories there look correct. We have a couple other categories that we do the same thing in. And those are miscellaneous purchases. And we're actually going to change this up because a lot of the money has been pulled for animals, and we've done some rough math, and we think we need to add an extra $100 a month to cover all of our regular monthly and annual bills for our cat and dog. So we're going to remove $100 from miscellaneous purchases and put it towards our animals. And hopefully that will make things run smoothly for us in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and change the goal here to $100 a month. And since we have more than that in here, we're going to just put it at 0. There's a little extra in there with the $73.11 $34.09. Comes out to a little more than $100, but that's completely fine there. And then our animals, we're going to increase our goal, and that's going to become $150 a month. So then we need to add $100 there. Everything else in these categories just accrues until the money is needed, so we'll leave those alone. Okay, and then clothing we keep at $600, and we are at $600.02. So I'm just going to minus 2 cents in there. And that should get us to $600. All right, so those look good. We did add a new category. You might notice if you've seen some of our previous videos, we do have a tech category, which we'll be able to use for computer replacements and things like that, which we do know we need to plan for in the future. We set a goal for this to have $2,000 at some point, and we'll fund it when we have resources available for it. Right now we do have one wish list item once we finish the computer upgrades, which is going to be about $950. Once that's completed, that will go into that tech category. But for now, we are not actually going to be putting any money into that area. We are prioritizing our wish list and our car payoff, so that will get funded as we have resources available and as our priorities align with that. Alright, so then we also had our wish list items for September that had been completed, and I will end up closing those out. What I normally do for these, let me go back to September because that's when we actually did the spending for them. So I'll go in and take a look at what we actually spent our money on. So this car seat protector has a wish list note in the memo fields. And I'm going to move that to animals because it is completed. And then I'm just going to remove the funding from this category. We're going to move it to our animals category. And then that will be deleted. So I'll end up doing that for the other two. All right, back in our October budget, we have a couple of yellow negative categories, but I'm just going to go ahead to November and do our funding there before I come back and kind of make some corrections for those categories. So in November, we had started budgeting things out. So we've got some green categories at the top and then more blue categories further down because those are where we left off last time. So again, like what we had changed in the October budget, I'm going to fully fund the total amount. So assuming that we would actually get the balances down to 0 in October, so that way we'd be fully funded again, and then we'll just kind of take that money and move it along. So toiletries and consumables needs another $15.08 to get up to $150 for the month. Transportation needs $180. And we don't do anything with interest and fees because we do our best to try to not incur those costs. Irregular expenses, we're going to go ahead and fund our car insurance. That's going to be $190. And here you can see we have a $1,000 insurance expense coming up. That's going to be for our 6-month insurance. It is a reduction. Our state has changed some of the insurance laws and made it a little bit less expensive for us. So we have everything funded at $190 a month for a 6-month rate. We're not going to quite spend that, but I figure we'll kind of let that accrue. We can start moving the money as we have an excess in there because I'm not really sure how things will work out in the long run with those insurance changes. All right, our car registration gets $30 every month. Rhode Island visits gets $50 a month. Auto repair and maintenance gets $20 a month. We do have a full bumper-to-bumper warranty for both of our cars through the dealer that we purchased our car with, and then our insurance on top of it. So this is basically covering the normal wear and tear items. So things like oil changes and tire replacements and windshield wiper replacements, little things like that we have to plan for, but aside from that, it's not really covering much. We should have pretty good coverage from our other sources of protection on those. Home repair and maintenance gets $60. Miscellaneous purchases, which we just switched down, that's going to get $100. Subscriptions will get $16. And animals is now going to get $150. Health is not normally funded. That is covered through the HSA portion that comes out of Lee's paycheck directly. So we should be all set in the regular expenses category. In our wants category, Lee and I both get $50. School gets $150 normally, but we're a little bit behind because we did go over. So I'm just going to bump that up. We'll go with $165. It seems to cover it pretty well. It should keep us on track. And then I can buy textbooks and whatever I need in January for the next semester. So $50 will go to me, like I had said earlier. Dining will get $150. Hobbies will not get anything. Fitness has been getting $15 a month, but we have not been spending it, so I think I'm just going to leave it at the $30. And we'll be good there. Entertainment is $0. Clothing is already fully funded. I don't think we're going to be making any purchases in the month of October. That would reduce that, so we'll just leave that be. Gifts, we have a couple of birthday gifts coming up, and then we'll have some Christmas gifts as well, so we're going to go ahead and fund that with the $10. Lee and Stacy do things. I think I'm just going to pull the money out of this category and make it available to us. Put it to good use elsewhere because I don't think there's anything else we need at this point. Tech, like I said earlier, we're just going to leave it as something we want to fund in the future, but we're not actually putting any money into it right now. And then stuff I forgot to budget for, we've fortunately made it to a point in our budget that there's not too many things that we can't or that we're not prepared for. So we can just leave that as is. And then the wish list we don't actually do in the month that we're funding for. And that excess money that we have, the $1,603.88, is going to be split between our car payments and our wish list items. And part of that's going to be finishing funding the Suki's initial expenses. We'll give an update on Suki in just a bit. Okay, so I did some math, and looks like half of 1603.88 is going to be 801.94. So we are going to add that to our car payment amount. And I will schedule up an extra payment for that. And then the 801.94 is going to our wish list. Alright, so Suki's initial expenses, all of our expenses for this category are finally done. It was an extra $335.49 on top of what we already had budgeted. So we'll go ahead and budget that in. And this is officially done, but I won't close it out until we start the month of November. Since I know all of you are really here to see pictures of Suki, and we also have a couple of Callie to go in as well this week. Suki has been to the vet to be spayed. She is recovering well from that, and she's been taking to the cone quite a bit. She's decided that it is a very good carrier for her favorite toys, the dino and the dragon, of which they do not have names yet. And she likes to go ahead and just knock things around with the cone and walk into us and kind of push us around, and she seems to be enjoying the cone for some strange reason. But she's doing very well. We expect a quick and full recovery, and she should be completely back to normal in no time. But back to the budget, the reason that I'm actually making this video. We're going to finish allocating out the $466.45 that we have available to us, and that is going to go to our next wish list item, which is computer upgrades. And the full $466.45 will go to that because we are expecting to need $950. So we should be pretty well set. That's a good start on that. And then we are out of money. So that is the end of our budgeting excursions for this week. So thank you all for stopping by to watch. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.